Welcome back, theorists. In our previous exchange, we briefly delved into the history of psychedelics in the West and an introduction into what they are. Let's get to the root of what makes them so compelling. Psychedelics are a tool, just like a hammer, computer, or a weapon. Like these tools, they are only as capable as their user, despite what they're purposed for. My experiences with psychedelics come in the form of plant medicines. You may already be familiar with common non-psychedelic plant medicines like ginger, for relieving nausea, turmeric for inflammation, or garlic for its immune-boosting properties. As a matter of fact, you may regularly cook with them, maybe using them for their taste as opposed to their benefits. In the same way these plant medicines can be used for different purposes, so can psychedelics like psilocybin mushrooms, iboga, or ayahuasca. Psilocybin mushrooms, also known as magic mushrooms, can be used to enhance creativity and cognition when microdosed. When looking to tune out the dull experience of reality and tune into the vibrancy of consciousness, you may then step up to a full dose or a trip. Or maybe you're looking to alleviate symptoms of depression or a smoking habit or addiction. Whatever your reason, psychedelics act as a microscope, allowing us to explore the corridors of our mind previously inaccessible. Well, how do they do it? Scientists don't completely understand, although the picture is getting clearer as studies are beginning to come out. At a high level, psychedelics like DMT, LSD, and psilocybin interact with the serotonin receptor, 5-HT2A, because they structurally resemble serotonin, the feel-good hormone. Similar to antidepressants, SSRIs, they alter communication with receptors, but dissimilar in the mechanism psychedelics use, they seem to revive emotional responsiveness in the brain, whereas SSRIs create an emotional blunting, which is often criticized as a major side effect. So not only do psychedelics not share the side effect, they have a greater percentage of efficacy next to SSRIs. The same can also be said for addiction when comparing psychedelics to drugs prescribed for addiction treatment. Digging deeper, scientists have found that in brain scans of psychedelic users, the default mode network is switched off. Well, that doesn't sound good, right? Let's first understand what the default mode network does. It's a network of brain regions active when a person is not focused on the outside world, or when the person is thinking about themselves, self-reflecting, remembering the past, or thinking about their future. Okay, so if that's turned off, what's going on in your brain? It's lighting up in seemingly unrelated regions and making new connections. So essentially, the boring streetlights of the brain have turned off, illuminating the vibrant sky of other connections within. With all that going on inside, what are you actually experiencing? Well, we mentioned that the default mode network is switched off in silence. So to sum it all up, you're experiencing the notorious ego death. Don't be alarmed. It isn't as foreboding as it sounds. In fact, in exchange for that ego, the fireworks show of new connections is eliciting those storied psychedelic colors and in some cases synesthesia. So it makes more sense now that those formerly unacquainted regions of the brain that are now communicating can provide completely unique experiences and sensations. Anecdotally, people have stated that they've seen everything from themselves dying or being reborn, or transformation of past experiences in hyperbolic fashion in the form of dragons or even as an alien. After all that, and the trip is ended, what do you bring back with you? These trips take place over many hours, and during the experience, it can seem longer. Similar to a vacation, you may not remember each moment, but you'll remember the highlights. Moreover, it's the feeling or overall sense that make you aware, where banal insights take on new meaning and are revelatory in a way as if someone has opened the curtains to the show of life and change the filter or the lens on the camera documenting your life story. The overarching theme is a complete change in perspective, where the world is bigger than yourself, similar to if you discover the Earth isn't the center of the universe, as you make sense of it spinning around the sun in the bigger scheme of the galaxy. And yet, these tools are still illegal in the US. But there is a paradigm shift taking place, where psychedelics are being decriminalized in parts of the country like Washington, D.C., Denver, Colorado, and Oakland, California. The change in attitude towards psychedelics is due to the allowance of research, due to early findings of wiping away maladies and with higher success than traditional methods, and in return, therapy sessions to administer psychedelics. Until this point, you may have thought that this was a love letter to psychedelics, but like any tool or substance, it can be misused or abused. That's where psychedelic-assisted therapy comes into play, to have trained professionals administer these substances and, more importantly, guide you through the ebbs and flows. As any experienced psychonaut will know, there are stages involved. They'll create a setting to allow your mind to relax and ensure as difficult emotions or thoughts arise, you can navigate them. Ultimately, you know yourself best, and if you have any trepidation, you may not want to use psychedelics, as your mindset steers the boat on a psychedelic voyage. And an unsettled, turbulent mind begets rough passage through the sea of the brain. In some rare cases, psychosis can also occur if predisposed to mental illness. So just take care. However, the future is bright for psychedelics, with decriminalization, lab research, therapy, and now investment opportunities. Those investments come in the form of companies that are either participating in developing therapies or synthesize variants of those drugs. Who knows? Maybe one day in the near future, you'll be able to legally take a trip as a psychonaut to the recesses of your mind. Well, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Theory, signing out. Taking LSD was a profound experience. One of the most important things in my life. LSD shows you that there's another side to the coin. And you can't remember it when it wears off, but you know it. It reinforced my sense of what was important. Creating great things instead of making money, putting things back into the stream of history and of human consciousness as much as I could.